The Nobel Prize-winning economist Milton Friedman often used the post office as the very symbol of government inefficiency. His one-liner usually went like this: the government can't deliver the mail, and you expect it to provide or regulate, and here you'd fill in the blank. The blank was often the point he wanted to make. You've heard me on Freedom Watch fill in that blank with everything from Obamacare to school lunches. But the interesting part of that phrase is the first part, and that's the part that no one ever really disputes. The government can't deliver the mail. Why can't the government deliver the mail? First, a little constitutional law, and then a little history. The Constitution specifically authorizes the Congress to establish the post office. So while it's not unconstitutional, it is still grossly inefficient. My own view is that there are parts of the Constitution that are itself unconstitutional, but the post office is not one of them, and that's another argument for another time. The post office grew and prospered as the nation did, and for generations it was the principal means of communicating with anyone other than having a direct conversation. For many years, the post office was self-sustaining, and for many years it actually made money. The cost of the stamps once paid for the delivery of all the mail and all the overhead. In the 1840s, the cost of mailing a letter was determined by weight and distance. An average 1-ounce letter cost 14.5 cents to mail from New York to Boston, and in 1841 it took 5 days to get there. Then a man named Lysander Spooner started a business to compete with the post office. He charged lower rates, he delivered in less time, and he brought the mail directly to your home, not just to the post office in your town. Not to be outdone, the post office kept lowering its charge for stamps. By 1851, both Spooner's company and the government were charging 3 cents to deliver that same 1-ounce letter from Boston to New York. And so the federal government, unaccustomed to competition, sued Spooner and his company and tried to get a jury to put him out of business. The jury loved what Spooner did. He made life better and cheaper. The feds lost, and then they did what they always do when they have competition they can't tolerate. They outlawed it. So in 1851, the feds were losing money by delivering mail from post office to post office. Spooner was making money by delivering mail from post office to private homes and businesses. And Congress thought it could make the post office solvent by banning the competition from charging less than the post office charged. The 3-cent stamp stayed in place for over 100 years, with Congress using tax dollars to fill in the deficits in the post office's budget. After 1913, things started to get worse for the post office, but better for Congress. That's when Congress got more money from the brand new income tax with which to plug the holes in the budget of the post office. But that's when the Federal Reserve started to devalue the dollar and the post office needed more and more money. Since the 1960s, the price of a stamp has gone up from 5 cents to 44 cents. The service is worse. The bureaucracy has grown, and price competition is still illegal. Here's the point. Yesterday, the post office revealed that it has used a line of credit that Congress has given it to the tune of $2 billion in just the first 3 months of this year. Its total line of credit is $15 billion. And yesterday as well, the post office revealed that it's likely to hit that number this September. Just like its sugar daddy, the Congress, the post office has never paid down its loans, and it just keeps borrowing. Just like anything the government owns, it doesn't produce wealth, it just consumes it. So why do we still have this Soviet-style behemoth on our books? The answer is always the same: votes. The post office employs over 300,000 people, and they vote. I once personally suggested to President Reagan that he sell the post office. He answered very amiably, as he always did, and then one of his aides took me aside and said, Uncle Ronnie had no stomach for a fight with the postal unions. Okay, so you have an important letter or document that needs to get today from New York to Boston, or a mortgage check that must get to the bank in 2 days. Are you going to use the post office? Of course not. You'll use UPS or FedEx or any of the profitable private carriers who, like Mr. Spooner's company, will guarantee delivery on time. Those folks would be the folks who'd put the post office out of business overnight if the laws permitted fair competition. What shall we do? Sell the post office tomorrow. Stop the drain on tax dollars. Move into the 21st century with the delivery of mail. Let competition improve the product. But don't hold your breath. The only thing the politicians like more than giving away your money is keeping their jobs, no matter the cost to you. Selling a dinosaur makes just too much sense to that crowd that thinks it can print cash and borrow its way to prosperity.